slightly different to the Bank Windhoek colors you are used to. More of a green tint to it, and you would also see some of the lighting behind yourselves. It's also green. I'm sure it was by no coincidence. But ladies and gentlemen, to get to it, I'm very excited to break the much anticipated news that Bank Windhoek is, as of today, launching WhatsApp banking. And judging by the applause and excitement in the room, you all know this will be more than just a service channel for us and our customers. It's really a bold step from our end to reimagine banking, and not only placing banking in the hands of our customers that we often say when it comes to releasing an app or another feature on an app, but it's really going beyond that. It's putting it exactly where our customers connect and where they communicate every day, making banking part of their daily lives. And I think all of you can relate and resonate with how often you are on that WhatsApp channel, how often do you receive something, how often do you respond to something. It has almost become as usual as talking to someone in the office or on the street that you bump into. So that is extremely important for us. And this is really building on a very strong legacy of innovation for Bank Windhoek. I think what many of you in the room may not know is that in 2006, we were the first bank in Namibia to introduce cell phone banking. Cell phone banking, which they often refer to today as the Tamagotchi devices, we brought that to Namibia first. And that fundamentally changed how a lot of our customers and our market is actually transacting. And now, very proud to stand here exactly two decades later. Jackie spoke about the 40-year history, but 2 decades later of that innovation, we're standing here, and once again, we are becoming the first bank to introduce WhatsApp banking in Namibia. And I think what's also noteworthy is that it's not only WhatsApp banking, it's also in this world often dominated and increasingly been dominated by fintechs and payment service providers, that we are still the first to introduce it in Namibia. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a coincidence. It's very deliberate and it's very strategic for us as Bank Windhoek. It's about the future we envisage, not only for Bank Windhoek and our organization, but also for Namibia and the prosperity of a people. We hold that very dear to our heart, to Jackie's point, being a proudly Namibian bank. And it reflects our continued commitment to remain and play a leading role in the way we shape our financial sector. And at the heart of this innovation and philosophy is that we've moved to a place where banking must meet customers where they are. We do not want customers to come where we expect them to come. And I think that is a shift that has been extremely important, and that has also been demonstrated through this, this innovation and this launch today. Today, customers are on WhatsApp, and that's why Bank Windhoek is on WhatsApp. Globally, WhatsApp has become one of the most influential digital platforms connecting billions of people and transforming how they communicate, how they seek services, and how they engage with businesses. And it's becoming an increasingly important platform, globally also, for commerce and payments. And then closer to home in Namibia, we see exactly the same happening. That shift has happened, and it's increasingly happening on a daily basis. Mobile penetration remains extremely high, digital engagement continues to grow, and social media platforms, to my introduction, it actually is how people communicate these days and how they access information. Why not bank that way or transact that way as well? That was really the question we had to answer. And our answer is, yeah, let's do that. So launching this platform really forms part of a bigger strategy. It's not about introducing another channel apart from the app and the branch, because one can very quickly get carried away from, and introduce so many things. But how useful is it to our customer? How is it really solving for customer needs and convenience and what the customer wants? We really seek to build a multidimensional digital ecosystem at the end of the day within Bank Windhoek that is centered around customers' needs, convenience, as you all know, has become increasingly important, and then simplicity. I'll speak to simplicity later again when I speak to inclusion. And then last but certainly not least, accessibility. We are moving beyond the isolated banking channels that we are all used to and that we've all known, and looking at a more integrated experience on which payments, communications, customer support, and other financial services are really all encapsulated in one solution. And WhatsApp banking is a key pillar of that ecosystem. It allows customers to transact, engage, and access services through a familiar but also trusted environment, reducing friction and simplifying their financial lives. Traditionally, banking has been really tied, and all of us know about the branches, the physical infrastructure. In every town almost there is a bank, and it's probably in most towns opposite the church at the four-way junction in the middle of town. That is how we've come to know banks, and that is how we continue to engage banks to a large extent. But the digital platforms have really changed that already. We've already seen that shift in our existing digital channels, but we believe this will be a catalyst and take it even further. So, more importantly, through the solutions, customers can also travel, whether you are in Windhoek, whether you're in Katima Malilu, but not even that, anywhere in the world. When you go cross-border, beyond the Orange, beyond the Kunini, beyond the Zambezi, WhatsApp in the palm of your hand, being connected to any Wi-Fi network or having any roaming coverage, you can transact, just like you would have been able to transact in country. And that for us is a big milestone. And at the end of the day, the experience, it remains very simple, it remains consistent, and ultimately accessible. And in a country like Namibia, distance and access have really been topical and barriers to entry. And that is why this matters in Namibia, more than for most countries. Second least densely populated country in the world. When people look at the map of Africa, it is defined by its space. A very, very small population scattered throughout this vast country, huge geographical mass, and it's often difficult to scale in an environment like this. But I think it's all of our duty to give access to each and everyone in this country to the financial system, the financial ecosystem, and to be included. And I think this is just another means to that end at the end of the day. And it's such an important step in advancing financial solutions and financial inclusion. Technology is one of our greatest enablers, especially extending it to some of the underserved communities, new first-time banking customers, and then specifically our rural and informal communities. This is how we bring more Namibians into the formal economy and financial system. And I think that is right up there on the back of our Instant Payment Namibia program, where it will become interoperable, cross banks, cross channels, cross sources of value, and I think it comes at an extremely timely point for Namibia and its economic advancement and inclusion of the broader Namibian population. However, I think as we innovate, one must also protect. And there's always a trade-off between convenience and risk. And convenience without security, I don't believe is progress. It's actually only a risk. And it was quite interesting as I made my way over from our head office to this venue. I already received some prompting questions from our release of the public announcement to the media houses about an hour or an hour and a half ago, asking exactly that question. We hear so much about fraudulent activity. I think some of the stats shared was already about 72 million a year, 6 million a month that has been forfeited or lost by customers across the industry. And I think that's a very important point, and why I'm specifically mentioning it. But, ladies and gentlemen, luckily, a bit later, instead of me standing here the whole morning, we will have a panel discussion that has been scheduled on our agenda that will really go into more detail of how we've thought about this. We've thought about it. WhatsApp in itself is already a very strong platform with built-in protection that you are all used to and have optimized and are always aware of. But as a financial institution that is responsible, we've actually gone a few steps further to protect our customers, because we know how difficult it is in this almost cyber and digital world to be protected from financial crime. So I'm going to leave that to my team of panel members, the experts, to unpack that for you in their discussion. And then lastly, I think why this matters deeply for us is because the trust we place in, or customers place in us, that is everything. Banking is based on trust, and that is one thing we cannot lose, and one thing we will fight for and won't lose. And that, I can assure you, in banking, trust is our currency. Then, ladies and gentlemen, the launch is not only about launching WhatsApp banking. From our side, there's a very clear statement of intent. We want to lead, and we are going to continue to lead innovation in this country, specifically in the financial services sector. Second commitment is to addressing customers' needs. Our customers will always be at the center of our innovation. And then also to use technology to really expand access and opportunity, because that is the only way one can really make it affordable and accessible to all, is by leveraging technology. As difficult as it is in a smaller population like Namibia, that is the vehicle we must all embrace and use to innovate. So at the end of the day, we are, as Bank Windhoek, committed to building a digitally enabled, financially inclusive Namibia, as was mentioned earlier. So I don't always like long speeches. I think I've taken more of your time today than what I would have usually done. But this is how exciting I am about it. I am really a big proponent of digital channels, specifically making it as convenient and as simple for the customer. And I mentioned earlier about access. And at the end of the day, we must ask ourselves the question, is access really access if it's through a lot of complexity? I don't think so. Simplicity is often what provides access. And that's what we've envisaged and what you will see today, just how simple it is to use this. And how everyone, regardless of background or financial literacy, can actually transact and bank through this solution. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we take one more step into a future where banking is simple, a future where banking is accessible, and lastly, a future where banking is truly for all. I thank you.
WhatsApp banking, your everyday transactions, now in your chat. All you need is a smartphone, WhatsApp installed. Start transacting today by following these steps. Step 1. Save 081-140-2950. Step 2. Send hi on WhatsApp. Step 3. Follow the prompts. Verified, private, and secure. It's as easy as that. Come, journey with us. T's and C's apply.
Thank you so much for that very exciting introduction to the Bank Windhoek WhatsApp platform. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we all know that this is a true milestone, bold milestone in advancing payment modernization and promoting greater financial inclusion in Namibia. So for that, this MC loves clapping hands for people. So can we please have another round of applause for this amazing initiative, a first for the financial sector in Namibia. This is truly spectacular. Right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite an amazing lady here today, representing the Ministry of Information Communication Technology, to deliver special remarks. Ms. Linda Ipinge will be representing the Honorable Minister, Matthew Phyllis, who could unfortunately not join us this morning. Thus, Ms. Aipinge, I would like to welcome you to stage to deliver special remarks on behalf of your ministry.
All right. Director of Proceedings, thank you so much for the opportunity. Operating in a political environment, inclined to skip the protocols, but also to observe. But let me just acknowledge Mr. James Chapman, the Managing Director of Bank Windhoek, and then stand on the protocol already established, if you allow me to. A very good morning to you all. I'm sure you were all waiting to see the dynamic Minister of ICT. Unfortunately, she could not be here, so I'm standing in for her. It's basically due to other equally important national obligations that she could not be here, but she was really looking forward to be here. So she has asked me to convey the warm congratulations to Bank Windhoek on the launch of the WhatsApp banking, a first of its kind innovation in Namibia, as the MD has mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard from the Managing Director about the significance of this launch from the bank's perspective. From the government's perspective, today's event is equally important because it speaks to a wider transformation taking place across the economy, which is in line with our national digital strategy launched last year. The growing convergence of banking, communication, and digital technology. For many years, banking and communications were viewed as separate sectors. One was associated with branches, the ledgers, and transactions, while the others with networks, devices, and connectivity. That separation is rapidly disappearing. Today, mobile technology sits at the center of how people communicate, consume information, access services, and increasingly manage their finances. That shift matters. It means that banking is no longer defined only by physical infrastructure or traditional service channels. It is increasingly shaped by platforms, connectivity, data, and digital behavior. Because customers now expect to communicate, receive support, make payments, and access financial services within the same digital environments they already use every day. We all have WhatsApp, right? So this is the environment we're using every day. In that sense, the convergence of banking and communication is not a distant trend. It is the lived reality of the modern consumer. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why today's launch is so significant. By bringing banking into WhatsApp, Bank Windhoek is responding to a market in which customer has become a center of service design. The industry is becoming more immediate, more responsive, and more consumer-centered. That is positive development for Namibia. The ICT landscape changes rapidly. And as a country, we have no choice but to adapt. And today's event is quite significant. This is in line with the country's national agenda, our national ICT policies and laws, strategies that create an enabling environment for innovation. Namibia has made meaningful progress in infrastructure expansion and coverage. Statistics are there. And according to the International Telecommunication Union, to which Namibia is a member, Namibia has in 2024, Namibia had approximately 2.58 million, mobile cellular subscription. And that the share of individuals owning a mobile phone stood at about 79.7%. These figures confirm that we can all see in practice, mobile technology has become one of the most important gateways to participation in social and economic life. For government, this creates a responsibility and opportunity. The opportunity is to use digital infrastructure to close long-standing gaps in access and inclusion, as it was previously indicated. In a country where geography, affordability, and infrastructure gaps have historically limited access to services, mobile-enabled solutions can help narrow the distance between institutions and citizens. They can help bring financial services closer to rural communities, young people, informal traders, full-time users of formal banking, and others who may previously have been excluded or underserved. This is why financial inclusion remains such an important national priority. Inclusion today is not only about whether a person lives near a branch, it's about whether services are available in the digital space where people are, where they are already, whether the services are easy to use, whether they are designed around the realities of customers' everyday life. At the same time, digital progress must be pursued responsibly. I think the MD spoke about the issue of cybersecurity and all that. So as banking and communication converge, the importance of cybersecurity, data protection, and digital trust become even greater. Greater convenience must never come at the expense of safety. As some services move onto connected platforms, both public institutions and private sector players must remain vigilant in strengthening security networks, protecting personal information, and building public confidence in digital services. Therefore, this calls for a concerted effort and collaboration in the implementation of a national cybersecurity strategy and awareness raising plan that government is currently implementing with other role players. This is also where the ministry's mandate, working alongside with the regulator, our Communication Regulatory Authority of Namibia, CRAN, remains so important. Our task is not only to support connectivity and innovation, but also to ensure digital development is orderly, inclusive, and responsive and responsible. Regulation must create room for innovation while safeguarding consumers and protecting the integrity of digital ecosystem. In this regard, initiatives such as the Instant Payment Program under the Bank of Namibia should be seen as part of the broader forward-looking conversation. They signal the need for institutions, regulators, market participants to work together to build interoperable, inclusive, and consumer-responsive ecosystem that can support the next phase of digital and financial transformation in Namibia. Today's launch, therefore, deserves recognition, not simply because it introduces a new product, but because it reflects the direction in which the industry is moving. It shows that the future belongs to the institutions that understand the consumer, embrace technological change, and are prepared to build services around convenience, accessibility, and trust. Most importantly, trust was highlighted earlier. Allow me, therefore, to congratulate Bank Windhoek, its board, management, and project teams on this important achievement. This launch sends a positive signal to the market. It shows foresight, it shows responsiveness, and it shows that innovation in Namibia can be practical, consumer-centered, and aligned with our national development objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, the future we're building is one in which communication networks do not merely connect people to one another, but also connect people to opportunities, to services, to participation in the economy. If we continue to develop the future responsibly, with security, inclusion, and consumer value at the center, then the goals and objectives of our national plans, of our national digital transformation strategy will be achieved, thereby improving the lives of our citizens. On behalf of Honorable Emma Theophilus, the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, I once again congratulate Bank Windhoek on the launch of the WhatsApp banking, in which the institution every success as it continues to advance innovation in serving the Namibian people. With that, I thank you so much. I hope I've done justice to the statement of the Honorable Minister. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Aipinge, the Executive Director and Accounting Officer for the Ministry of Information Communication Technology. That was a beautiful speech, and you have done it justice. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure many of you are keen to understand how this platform would work, the intricacies of it. It's very exciting, and I've been watching online on the national broadcasters, social media platforms, as well as our own, and there are quite a few interesting questions and comments that we've been receiving. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, to give you insight into how this platform would work, I would like to welcome my colleagues, Mr. Wakaita Shiramba, our Digital Optimization Manager at eMoney, together with Ace Amadela, who is one of our trainee graduate development program students, also in the eMoney department. Let us please give them a warm welcome, round of applause as they make their way to the stage.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are proud to launch WhatsApp Banking, a solution that brings banking services into a platform that many customers use every day. And for us, it's a very important step towards our broader digital strategy, and basically reflects on a simple belief. And like my MD rightfully said, banking must meet customers where they are, and must be designed around convenience, accessibility, and pure customer behavior. So if most of our customers spend most of their time on a particular platform, we need to see how we can actually meet them on that platform responsibly. WhatsApp banking is designed around to reduce friction, making it easier for our customers to engage with us in a familiar environment, and with clear guided prompts and interactions. So in the next few minutes, we'll actually take you through the journey, the WhatsApp banking journey, the experience step by step, and you will be able to see how a customer gets started, and also how security actually built into the platform. And just in terms of what we'll basically discuss, we'll basically tackle the three things here: getting started, how a customer can actually get started with their WhatsApp banking journey, simple prompts that a customer can actually follow to get started, the security features, how each and every interaction is actually protected, and the user experience, and that now pertains to the ease of use, accessibility, and comfort. So I'll hand over to my colleague Ace, who will take us through the journey. But feel free to actually try a transaction as he's actually going through that. You can do that at your own pace, and if you have any questions, you can actually engage us. Ace.
Okay, as we are celebrating the release of WhatsApp banking, I feel it's only right for me to say what's up. So what's up, everyone? All right, so I'm just going to take you through and show you how quick and easy it is to go from zero to banking in just a few minutes and show you how simple it is with WhatsApp. So if you want to join, you can tag along. So we got to get started here. And this is where it all begins. Simple. Just by saving the bank Windhoek WhatsApp banking official number, the same way you would save a contact of a friend or a family that you met at a gathering. But the only difference is this time they won't ask you for airtime or money in the middle of the month. Yes. So the official WhatsApp banking number is 0811 402950. And this is in alignment with our cell phone banking shortcode, which is *140 *295 hash. Now, once you save the number, you will open WhatsApp, open the chat, and all it takes is one word. Hi. Simple as that. No long forms, no complicated steps, just hi. And I know a few relationships required more effort to start than this. After you send a hi, you will then be provided with the terms and conditions, which you will click on. And I know most of us, or let me just say myself, we are very fast to scroll through and click on accept, but we've made these terms and conditions in a simple and transparent manner that it's understandable to the client so that they know what they're agreeing upon and what they're signing up for. Once you have read through the terms and conditions, you will click on done, and you will then be provided with the options to accept or decline. Now, like Waikaita has said earlier, that it is a consent-based platform. So we are making sure that you as the customer and the client are in full control. So should you choose to decline, you will then decline, and then you will be logged out of the session. But at any point in the future, you can come back and restart the session, go through the same terms and conditions, and when you are comfortable, you will click on accept. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you have made your entry into banking. Thank you for accepting the terms and conditions. Now, security. As the MD, Mr. James, said earlier, what is convenience without security and trust? Exactly, nothing. We have built this platform in such a way that we ensure that the customer knows that their funds are protected and no one can just take their phone at any point of time and just start moving their money around. So at the beginning of every session, you will be required to input a PIN to ensure that your funds are safe, and that is a PIN that you only know. But please, don't put the PIN like you're replying to a normal message. Click on enter the PIN, and a safety PIN pad will then open up where you will insert your 5-digit PIN. And it's not that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PIN. We all know that one guy. But this PIN is the same PIN that you use on your cell phone banking, the short code *140295. The same PIN you use when you log on cell phone banking is the same PIN you will be using on WhatsApp banking. And once you have entered your PIN, just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you have made your entry into banking. The same platform that you use to send memes, stickers, and voice notes and occasionally ignore people is the same platform where you can now manage your finances. Now, the screen that you see here is the display of a Bank Windhoek account holder where there will be available, the services that will be available. You click on your menu and you'll have a bunch of services which include account inquiries, transfers, payments, easy wallet payments, self-service banking, and the list goes on. Now, what's more powerful is that not only are we catering for the traditional bank account holders, we are also catering for those that are getting started through our easy wallet services. So whether you're just getting started or you're fully banked, you are included. No one is left on red. The process is the same, the experience is the same. You will say hi, you will be provided with the terms and conditions, and you will then input and you will be able to use the service. But as you see on this screen here, it says, after you've accepted the terms and conditions, it says, in order to continue, please log into cell phone banking, dial the short code, and create your PIN. This is another security component. Sometimes easy wallet users do not have a PIN. Say I sent you a money and I generate for you an easy wallet. So if you hop onto WhatsApp banking, you will not be able to use the service. You will have to log off, go to cell phone banking, dial that short code, create a PIN, and come back to WhatsApp. And once you have done that, ladies and gentlemen, you say hi, and you will be provided with that security feature, input your PIN, and you will be able to use the service. Simple as that. And the available services for the Easy Wallet clients include wallet-to-wallet transactions, withdrawing your Easy Wallets, and prepaid services. And after you've done doing your transaction, it's simple. Just type cancel, and you'll be successfully logged out of the session, meaning that you have full control over your WhatsApp banking. Unlike some chats where, you know, you're in the conversation, you want it to end, but the other person is still in the session, so you really don't have full control. But over here, you have full control. It ends when you want it to. So what we've built here is not just another channel and banking feature. We are changing the way that banking is experienced from something you go to to something that comes to you. Simple, secure, and accessible. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Wakaita and Ace. Yeah, Ace, I think you are right in saying now we can just say, what's up? It works wonderfully. Ladies and gentlemen, our next program item will be a panel discussion where the panel members will dive into the intricacies of WhatsApp banking, give you some more insights and information on it. So thus, while my colleagues are assisting with setting up at the back, I would like to introduce you to our panel members. First up, ladies and gentlemen, let me get my notes correct here. I would like to introduce you to our moderator for today, Mr. Bradwin Beekes, who is the Head of Transactional Products and Services for Bank Windhoek. He will be joined on stage by Mr. Ryan Geyser, the Executive Officer of Digital Data and Customer Transformation, Ms. Candy Ngola, the bank's Head of E-Money, as well as Mr. Jonas Ngololo, the Product Owner, Mobile Channels. Can we all please give them a big round of applause as they make their way up to on the stage?
Good morning, everybody. First and foremost, thank you to the speakers for that powerful address. We've all heard today the message. This is not about launching a new channel or product. It's about responding to a fundamental shift in how clients or customers live, communicate, and transact. Banking is no longer a place where customers go to. It's something that moves with them. So let's explore what this really means in practice for trust, for inclusion, and for the future of banking in Namibia. How we'll do this session, I'm going to ask the panel a couple of my questions because I like to put them on the spot a bit. And then I'll open for 3 questions in the audience, and then I'll allow them to answer, and I'll take 2 more questions, if that's okay. So the first question goes to you, Candy. How are you doing? Are you proud? You happy?
Very, very happy.
Awesome. The MD highlighted that banking must move with the customer. How does WhatsApp banking become part of a customer's everyday life, rather than just another service they occasionally use?
Thank you for that, Bradwin. So when the bank started with this project, we wanted to make sure, based on what the MD said, that we produce something that is simple and that is convenient. And what we recognized was payments need to follow the customer, whether it's physically or digitally. And we identified that when it comes to digital platforms where customers are communicating, we found that a lot of our Namibians are moving slowly but surely away from your SMS-based communication towards your big techs, such as WhatsApps. And we've seen how banking has evolved, where banking has moved from branches to retail shops, and we essentially follow the customer. So digitally, we decided to give the customers an experience that they're already familiar with. So WhatsApp is widely available and used in Namibia. And it's also a platform where people around the world, we're seeing that it's being used for more than just communication. There's a convergence, as the ED mentioned, a huge and strong convergence between financial sector and the ICT sector. So we're essentially giving an experience that customers are familiar with, that they already trust through WhatsApp, and we're coupling that with banking services and transactional activity that they are already doing every day. So as Ace and Wakaita indicated, you have your cell phone banking, you already know the star code, you already know how to send an easy wallet. Customers already know how to send from a bank account. So, and they're already familiar with WhatsApp. So it was really to give them something that, where the learning curve and for them to understand the platform, that would be reduced. So it's something that they use every day, and it's payments that they also are used to making every day. So it is really bringing those two experiences together in one unified experience.
Thank you very much, Candy. I think the second question, Joe, will go to you. The MD spoke about trust, and, you know, and I think the point was also made by the executive director that, you know, digitization or innovation means nothing without trust. So trust is a fundamental principle in a conversational channel like WhatsApp, right? Where people are used to informal interactions, as Ace pointed out earlier. How do we ensure that trust is not compromised when real money is involved?
Thank you, Bradwin, for the question. I think when you look at a solution like this, the first question we would always pose this as well is trust. How do we secure all the communication that we go through? We know that people are used to communicating as a conversation on WhatsApp and everything else, and all of the information that you communicate sometimes is there. We know that people talk about to say there is a layer of security within WhatsApp. There is an encryption that happens there. But what we went further on is that we do double encryption. As you've seen there is a PIN pad that requires you to enter your PIN. Once you put in that PIN, you will not see it as part of your conversation. All of that information is securely communicated through WhatsApp into our servers so that even on WhatsApp, they do not get to see the communication that flows through. So that's the first layer that we talk about. And the second layer, we know already your communication within WhatsApp is encrypted. Furthermore, we then also put it in that, as Ace has shown, that a conversation can happen. Sometimes you forget to cancel. We do put in mechanism that we will then time out the session, cancel the session, and if you come back again later, any of the information that allowed you to do will allow you to start all over again. Will require you to re-enter the PIN, authenticate yourself, and so on. Furthermore, is again the layer to say is that we can see only that this communication is coming from your mobile number. It is not to say that anybody can access your communication. Only what is coming from your mobile number, which is then matched with the PIN that you've established. And this is the same PIN that you already used to use on your Easy Wallet USSD. We just use the same PIN in there. So from all of that stuff, in IT, we take care of all of that complicated stuff in the background to make sure that your life is simple, to make sure that your interaction is simplified. That's really how we do to make sure that trust is upholded too.
No, thank you very much, Joe. So what you're saying is there's already encryption on the channel itself. Yes. We ask you to put in a PIN. We allow you to cancel a session, or we cancel on your behalf based on inactivity, and then we require you to put the PIN back in.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Candy, back to you. I think the top of mind thing is about inclusion. We heard about when the media and our MD spoke to it, is IPP or IPS with a new switch. It's all about inclusion, right? Financial inclusion. In a country where access and distance remain real challenges, how does this solution practically expand financial inclusion, and where do gaps still remain?
So there is a huge reliance between two converging sectors. So it's again the financial sector and the role that they have to play, and the ICT sector. So financial inclusion is tied to both of those. So with the way we've designed and offered this feature, it's just to ensure that we're following customers that have mobile phones. And if you look at the statistics and also I think the 79.9% that was given by the ED, there is high mobile ownership penetration in Namibia. And banking has also been following the mobile phone. So when it comes to financial inclusion, even those that are not fully banked or those that are underbanked, they would generally still have a mobile phone. And on this feature, the WhatsApp feature, we cater for both customers that have mobile phones but are fully banked, as well as customers who are not banked currently. And those are generally the customers that are considered financially excluded. but they can be banked by Bank Windhoek through the Easy Wallet, because you don't need a bank account, you don't need full cell phone banking access. So the minute you receive an Easy Wallet, you're essentially a Bank Windhoek customer. And to Jonas's point, you would go through certain steps where we identify you, where we can get your details and serve you better in future. From an ICT point of view, when it comes to financial inclusion, that's enabled by your network coverage. So over the years, Namibia has expanded your 2G, 3G, and 4G. And the WhatsApp platform should be able to then be utilized across areas where those network coverages are found. So not just in the urban areas, our MD also mentioned different towns all around the world. And it's actually for both Namibians and even foreign nationals are also able to input their details, whether you're in Namibia or anywhere in the world as well. So we're really using this as James mentioned, this should be used as a catalyst for future financial inclusion efforts, more so through the instant payment program that Bank of Namibia is driving. So this is just the start to making sure that we don't leave anybody behind.
Thank you very much, Candy. Would it be fair for me to say that I saw the menu for Easy Wallets? We have wallet-to-wallets ability, on the menu. That means clients don't have to go from the village to go draw money in town off the Easy Wallet. They can literally pay the vendor in the village by just selling the wallet. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. So as opposed to withdrawing, relying on cash, you should be able to send a person or a small business a wallet.
So it's simply creating an ecosystem.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. Last question from me to the panel, and we'll give to the audience. Ryan, the MD spoke about building multi-dimensional digital ecosystem. Groot woorde daar, jong. Sjoe. Where does WhatsApp banking fit into that bigger picture? And what comes next for us?
Thanks, Bradwin. Talking about putting someone on the spot. For me, if you're building a digital ecosystem, it doesn't come by accident. It needs a very deliberate plan. That plan for us was to extend our digital footprint and our digital channels to the platforms that really matter. WhatsApp plays into that very, very well. Over 3 billion users worldwide, active users. I think of all connected users to internet, there's a 96 or 97% penetration rate. And I think all of us in the room and around will attest to the WhatsApp as a channel and how impactful and how important it is for a communication channel. So it was just a natural choice. We wanted to, though, make sure that it was secure, that it was simple and easy to use, and most importantly, to give customers the choice of channel as well. So building an ecosystem doesn't mean we don't give choice and we force customers to a specific channel or platform. Is really we want to give them the choice, and this opens up the choices for them.
Thanks, Rai. Thank you very much. I think we'll open questions to the floor now. There's a mic on my right and a mic on my left. We'll take 3 questions, all asked at the same time, and then we'll ask the panel to answer, then we'll take 3 more. If everybody's okay with that. Are there any questions? You're welcome to step up to the mic and ask those questions. Bank Windhoek staff, you may also ask questions if you don't have to be shy. It looks like there's a sure. Can we just get the mic to the ED, please? There's a roving mic, Ron.
Okay, thank you. I thought I was not allowed to ask a question since I was a speaker. But was it Ace, as he was presenting, where you say enter your PIN, and you have to click and enter PIN. what happens if I accidentally, below there's a block. If I enter my PIN down there, does it allow me to enter a PIN? Maybe you can just show and explain what I mean. If you can show that on the screen, because there's a block where you say enter your PIN, but below there's a blank space. If somebody enters the PIN and they say send, will it send? Because then that would remain in the chat, or how is that taken care of? Thank you.
Do you want to take that, Joe?
Yes, sure. So yes, I think there's always going to be guidelines to which sometimes people will draw outside of the line. And I think this is where some of the exception that comes in. When you, in part of a communication that we have to go through, we have to clearly articulate to the users is that to make sure that your communication is secured, you have to click on that so that you can type in your PIN in a secure pad. However, for the users who end up doing it, I think that's where the drawing outside the line comes in, is that your message is showing, because that is basically your conversation. We can't prevent that, but what we want to make sure is that we have to make sure that with clear education, people do not do that. We cannot prevent you from typing whatever you have. You put in your message, but then what we do is that that will just be, it will come back to say, please enter your PIN. Then a user will know that your PIN pad is what you require for your communication.
Does that answer the question? Okay.
Yeah, it does. Because
You call me Mike.
It does, and I don't want to create a conversation. I'm just saying, okay, well, when somebody does that accidentally, then which means that PIN would remain in the chat, and somebody else can come in and get access to that, unless that it's disabled, that you're unable to, or it's disabled. Okay.
Let me just, I also tried to put in my PIN, and it was wrong. And I couldn't, you can't actually put it in your chat. You have to go back and start from the beginning. So it doesn't allow you, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Any more questions? Yes, Joe. Yes, please, ma'am.
Just a quick question from my side. I just wanted to know, in terms from a cost perspective, is this going to cost customers more, this feature?
Candy?
Yeah, so the feature itself is free for customers, so there are no additional costs. So whatever costs apply in the cell phone banking, that is exactly what would apply in the WhatsApp banking platform as well.
That's
so
awesome.
the fees and charges are exactly the same. They haven't changed, so they're fully aligned to what customers are used to today.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I can just add there, I think, Joan, what does not apply that applies on normal cell phone banking is the session fees by the operators. So this is part of your normal data bundle. So the session fees that the operators, the MNOs do charge actually then falls away. Thanks. Any more questions? None. Okay, on that note, thank you very much, panel members. You guys did yourselves justice, right? I'll try to put you on the spot a little bit more in the future. Thank you very much from our side. Thanks. Bronwyn?
Thank you so much to our panel members. Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of our formal program. Hang in there a little while longer with me. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, it won't do it justice if we do not do a vote of thanks. There are many people who have been involved in this project. Blood, sweat, and tears, literally. I would like to invite on stage Ms. Candy Ngula to come up and do the vote of thanks for us for this event. Welcome, Candy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever thought that doing payment starts with a simple hi? I don't think anybody woke up this morning to think that, I can do my payments just with a simple hi. So as Bronwyn mentioned, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes over a period of time where different stakeholders, internal and external, came together to give our customers, I think, what they want. And sometimes customers might not ask for something, but there's a saying that says, build it and they'll come. And we do hope that our customers will truly join Bank Windhoek in this journey. So as we bring this momentous occasion to a close, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and give thanks to the stakeholders and the teams that have made this journey and also today possible. So what we've witnessed today and this morning through the speeches of our MD, the ED, as well as the demo from the team, we've not just witnessed a launch of a new banking and transactional and payments platform. What we've witnessed is a manifestation of a vision that has come to life. And it is a vision that has brought together in one single unified experience, a vision made up of regulators and the enabling environments that they have created for the industry to build this on, both ICT and Bank of Namibia. It is made up of ideas and the creative essence of the teams in Bank Windhoek. It's made up of tireless hours and endless discussions and approvals and testing and making sure that we can really offer our customers something that has a lasting impact on their lives, their everyday lives. So this belief also inspires Bank Windhoek to make sure that payments, digital payments, evolve as customers evolve. We also believe that financial services must meet customers where they're at. And of course, that relevance in today's world requires courage and conviction. And I think, again, with the launch that the MD has given today, that is testament to that. So allow me to begin by recognizing our stakeholders in nation building. To the Ministry of Infrastructure, Communication and Technology, thank you for your presence here today. You did such a great job at eloquently landing the points on behalf of the Minister. Thank you very much. And thank you for the continued role that you play in ensuring that Namibia has a solid and strong digital future. And again, back to that convergence, payments is highly, highly dependent on the ICT sector. And to the Bank of Namibia, we thank you for joining us here today and for your continued guidance and regulatory leadership in strengthening and safeguarding our financial system, and also in creating an enabling, progressive, and trusted digital payments landscape. And within the industry and within the bank, this kind of progress is only possible because of bold leadership. So to our executive leadership team, our managing director, our executive leaders who are in the room as well as our management teams, and also our board, we thank you for your stewardship and in creating a space and an environment where purpose-driven innovation and human-centric innovation can really, really come to life in ways that matter to Namibians and the rest of the world. And to the teams who have brought this vision to life, and these are usually the teams and the humans that are not always seen, and they work in the background. So I'd like to start by saying to the e-money team, it's a very, very small team, but it's a powerful team. This journey has not been defined by the size of that team, but by the strength of its belief and drive and conviction in what digital payments can look like in Namibia. It's a small team carrying a very bold vision, navigating complexity and showing up every day with focus and determination. And so your management and coordination of this initiative has really, really brought this to life. So well done to the e-money team. To our technology partners, specifically our e-channels team, together with your strategic partners, external partners who really have been able to connect us to global platforms and capabilities. We thank you, and you've literally taken an idea, a concept, a possibility, and you've engineered it into reality. And it's because of the technology team, your expertise, the countless hours, and your commitment that we are able to make today possible. You've made history, quite literally. We also acknowledge and thank the teams and staff across the bank who have been involved and who've shaped not just a feature, but an experience that is both functional and meaningful. So this speaks to our colleagues who we invited to look at the feature, to test it, And they really shared their ideas and they put their heart in making sure that what we put out has meaning for their families and their friends and just the broader customer. And for this day, we recognize the marketing team as well as the production teams. Thank you for the tireless effort that has gone into this event and to bringing this event to life. From concept to execution, you've ensured that today is not only experienced seamlessly, but also remembered meaningfully. To our media partners, your role extends far beyond your attendance here today. You're the bridge between innovation and the public. Through your platforms, your voices, your storytelling, this moment reaches beyond this room and this day and into the lives of Namibians across the country and beyond. We value to the media your continued support, and we thank you for the role you play in ensuring that moments like these are not only seen, but are remembered as part of not only the bank's history, but also as part of national history. And finally, last but not least, to our clients, you're the reason the bank exists. You're the reason the bank was created 42 years ago, and you're still the reason why we continue to innovate today. What we're providing today is not an entirely new experience for you. You already bank, you already use accounts, you already use easy wallets, and for those that we haven't reached yet, we're coming. So today's also a continuation, essentially, of a journey that we've already committed to doing through our digital transformation efforts. So just to echo our MD's remarks earlier, and just to supplement what he said, this is a journey that reimagines how people transact. This is a journey that expands access, it deepens financial inclusion, and it simplifies everyday life. This is a journey that does not belong to Bank Windhoek alone, but to every customer, existing and new, every partner, every stakeholder, and all those who will join us in future as we continue to extend access, deepen inclusion, and bring more people into the formal financial system in bold and creative ways. And in closing, to all of you who are here in person and those who are also joining us virtually, thank you for being a part of this historic moment and for walking this exciting journey with Bank Windhoek towards a digital and connected Namibia. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful closing, Candy. And I think you left someone out. We must say a big thank you to you for all the effort and all the hard work that you have put into this project. It's a proud moment for you, for your team, but I think it's a proud moment for Namibia because this is a first. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, just a reminder that we have this competition running. The team will be passing by. You can win $500 Namibian dollars, 500 Namibian dollar easy wallets that will be shared with you today. Apologies to everyone online. Unfortunately, you're not in for this exciting prize today. We have now formally come to the end of our program. We thank you all for being here. Everyone online, our media partners here today, thank you so much for being here. We officially sign out, and I wish you a blessed day further. Before we leave, this front row in front of me here, we would like to arrange for a photo opportunity with our representation, Ms. Anshra from the Bank of Namibia, the ED, as well as our Managing Director. Candy, please, you are one of them, and Ms. Jacqueline Pack. If you can join us on stage for a photo opportunity. For everyone who is seated, please join us for something to nibble on outside. We appreciate you being here today, and you deserve a round of applause. Our media colleagues, for any queries, you do know the man of the moment here. That is Mr. Samuel Lenyondi. Anything you need, please do reach out to Sammy. He will provide you with all the information you require. Have a good, blessed day further.
together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vaseye, past the Mbwayes, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group.
Before the stadium lights, before the commentary box, before the cameras rolled, there was dust. There was a ball stitched too many times, goalposts made of rocks, and the referee was just the loudest kid on the block. There was laughter on the open fields where the grass grew uneven, where barefoot dreams outran worn-out sneakers, where the sun didn't care about shade, and neither did they. Because this is where football was pure. Not for contracts, not for headlines, not for the trophies polished in glass cabinets, but for the love of the game. For the girl child who tied her braids tighter and refused to sit on the sidelines. For the boy child who practiced step-overs against invisible defenders until sunset swallowed the skies. This is where it all started. In the open fields, in the townships, on soccer pitch, we go back. Back to the roots, back to the dust, back to the beginning. Because before football became a spectacle, it was a story. And that story still lives. This is soccer pitch. This is the love of the game.
Where he needs to get. Even after the day he took off his gloves, he is the force behind the power. The punches and the knockouts of a world champion. Behind this tough exterior is a handshake, friendly as a smile on his face. He's been there, done that, and always stayed in the background. But as you can see, he's taking me all the way up, step by step, to come up with a knockout punch.
what is the role of Cuba in Southern Africa and the ties that we had in the past?
1,000 Cubans died here. Many others were injured, some of them seriously injured and disabled, so that our countries can be free.
Gods of thunder, now no more, make calls for peace and end to war.
Because Cuba is a peaceful country and Cuba is under threat, and Cubans are suffering as a consequence of the embargo, which has been around for 60 years.
Professor Brian Williams.
As voices rise across the country and stories come to life,
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
some of the most talented choirs gather, bringing you breathtaking harmonies, incredible vocal skill, and so much more. The second edition of Blended Voices is set to be a true choral masterpiece. Expect excitement, goosebump-worthy moments, and an unforgettable explosion of sound, all beautifully blended under one roof.
Catch us live at the NTN. Join us for a powerful and unforgettable musical experience. See you there.
All this taking place on the 25th of April 2026. Tickets are available for standard 200 Namibian dollars, at the door 250 Namibian dollars. Come and experience the magic of the best local choirs live on NBC2.
We all say it. I'll go next time. I feel fine. It's not that serious. But when it comes to your health, waiting can cost more than you think. Preventative screenings don't just detect illness, they give you a second chance. Join Tupopiani as we break down the importance of preventative screenings and how one simple decision could change everything, because knowing could save your life. Only on NBC, your home channel.
"36 years after independence, the meaning of freedom continues to be interpreted in various ways across Namibia. For farmers, freedom is more than an idea. It lives in responsibility, resilience, and in the daily work of the land. This Independence Day, 2 farmers reflect on what freedom truly means.
My naam is Joseph Daniel Loxton. Ek boer op die plaas 423 Gous, Riebhoff District, en ek boer met bokke, varke, skaap.
Tin onske a Serafine Kwese. Thomas Agam Smadaki Gengai. Kwese disi koro disi twin at Puripna. I Kakasan diti, Sisin Kukauka. Idake, Opnoras Makan Amsendagi Dio. Net as a hiking Muye. Welgemut Dirakaye as ye. Thomas Na.
Independence is vir my iets baie spesiaal. Dit is die dag wat ons land onafhanklik geword het en dat ons kan vry access het na alle fasiliteite in ons land en daar word nie gediskrimineer nie. Ons is bly om in Namibia te wees.
Ting orasa se get to Ting Einstein Einkluske. We get at to Did that think Karet I uha season reasonsa. Dig we unka ting and the winka karakasa.
For them, independence begins with access to land and the opportunity to build a life through farming. Yet, freedom across the land is also deeply personal, shaped by sacrifice and purpose.
Nen as here the gehosa. Isa kanske kaise dida isa si bagema. Tik kaiba gema. Koida akase. Dida tin a adi kaisa gikau.
Also, this ties in with our national cybersecurity strategy and awareness raising plan. We are saying we advocate for digital transformation. At the end of the day, is you and I transacting. It's in you and I, clicking on that particular link and say, yes, I'm entering my PIN. So we encourage that consumer awareness be intensified to ensure that the consumers protect themselves, because very, very important when you talk about your financial matters. We have heard about statistics of people, losing their money and all that. So yeah, it's very, very important. And also to the consumers, just to make sure that you do the right things. When you are told this is what you need to do by the bank, when somebody calls you, give me your bank vendor PIN, give me what, do not do that. But what we heard from the bank is that they put security measures in place. The number that you register with at the bank is the one that they are going to verify to ensure that transactions go through. Yeah.
I mean, as much as the digital landscape is evolving, infrastructure development is also very imperative. With that said, what do you make of just this initiative in terms of especially coverage in rural areas where lack of data and banking access poses to be a challenge?
Yeah.
And perhaps MICT's collaboration in the future in terms of infrastructure development as well.
Yes, thank you very much. That's very important, because for somebody to be able to use WhatsApp, you need to be connected to the data. And we have what we call the National Broadband Policy that sets in terms of the required speed from the mobile network operators to the consumer. So that for us is very important. Also, when you look at our ICT policy and our universal access policy, encourages universal coverage for us to bridge the digital divide. So what is important is we work actually with the regulator. I'm sure you have heard about the Universal Service Fund. What it does, it actually works with the mobile network operators, collecting the levies to ensure that we expand connectivity. So in terms of our plan, this is quite aligned, and what we are seeing is that all players need to play their part, including government. We allocate funding for, to support the Universal Service Fund. So that is quite important that we expand connectivity and coverage. I mean, we have launched 5G last year as a country, is again to ensure that people are connected. But I think what is important, our national broadband policy basically defines, you can say 4G is broadband. So, and this is, you see so many operators are now upgrading their infrastructure to ensure that they comply to that policy directive.
Ms. Linda Ipingenakala, thank you so much for your time and information this morning, and all the best with MICT's developments and plans.
Thank you so much.
Right. Well, there was MICT's ED, Linda Ipingenakala, of course, just talking to us about the newly launched WhatsApp banking app, an initiative, of course, that advances the digital landscape, modernizing the banking sector, and, of course, just inclusion, especially when we talk about access of banking in rural areas. Namibia connects with us shortly. To stay with us.
Possible to love a bank. Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vaseye, past the Mwais, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group. Visit
Thank you for staying with us. Now, earlier on, we were in discussion with MICT on the newly launched banking app, WhatsApp banking app by Bank of Windhoek, or Bank Windhoek rather. And we continue with this discussion, and I'm joined here, that is by the Bank of Namibia. Anshua Plaikis. Yes, thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. First of all, really, what do you make of this particular initiative, firstly? And just from the regulatory perspective, how does this align with digital guidelines?
Thank you very much. I think today was really a remarkable day. From the Bank of Namibia side, what we are working tireless towards is a stable, modern and innovative banking sector. And what we've seen today ties in terms of modernization of the banking sector, but also security, because I think that is an important element for us. From our side, cybersecurity is critical, and ensuring that the customers are not exposed to risks. We have heard the numbers today in terms of fraud. So from our side, we are pleased to see the securities that were built in to protect the customers. The consumer education is critical, taking the consumers along in a manner that they understand, and for them to use the service in a safe and affordable manner is critical and will determine the success thereof. Thank you.
Just in addition to that, how does this initiative support the Bank of Namibia's financial, inclusion, like you highlighted, but looking at that mandate, especially for the unbanked and cash-based informal sector?
So for us, in terms of usage and affordability, that's critical. So what we've seen, the numbers is that most of the consumers, the cell phone penetration is quite high. Everyone has a cell phone in their hand, so they will now be able to log into the banking sector using it in a secure and affordable manner. So I think that's important.
Looking ahead, perhaps just talk to us about Bank of Namibia's strategies in terms of digital transformation, considering specific guidelines or sandbox frameworks, that is for chat-based banking or open AI, digital models.
So we do have the regulatory sandbox where we admit participants where the regulatory framework is not yet aligned or enabling. We do admit them to test that, to ensure that we can align our laws, but also for making sure that innovative solutions can come into the market. So that is one of the tools that we have created to allow the industry to innovate. We also have the digital transformation strategy for the banking sector, where we are trying to ensure that we digitally transform the banking sector, keeping pace with the developments out there.
Well, Ms. Anshua Plaikis, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and all the best.
Thank you.
All right. I'll hold this for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And that was Anshua Plaikis. She is the Director of Banking. Particular, what's the banking initiative, and of course how it ties in with Bank of Namibia's regulatory digital guidelines. So stay tuned to Namibia Connects.
To love a bank. Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vaseye, past the Mwayes, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages, plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group. Is it possible to love a bank? Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vaseye, past the Mwayes, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages, plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group. Is it possible to love a bank? Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vaseye, past the Mwayes, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group.
Here at the Bank Windhoek launch, that is of the new banking product, the WhatsApp banking initiative. Now, just to talk to us more about the marketing aspect of it, I'm joined by Jacqueline Beck. She is the Executive Officer for the Marketing and Corporate Communications Services. Ms. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us. Now we get to talk to Bank Windhoek themselves.
Yes.
Just talk to us about how this ties in with your broader, brand strategy and perhaps how you're going to, roll this out.
Yes, thank you so much. So basically, this is our form part of our product and services campaigns. And our focus would be really to reach the mass market. So we will be, as of tomorrow, kickstarting our awareness campaign. Above the line, it will feature radio adverts as well as print adverts, and then a huge component of it will also live on social media. We will be doing brand activations as well, just to definitely introduce the service to our broader population. And our focus would also be to look at vernaculars, so all languages must be able to resonate and understand what the service is about. At the center of our marketing campaign is also our hero character. We call him Mr. Easy. So this character is the character that we'll be utilizing across all segments to really communicate this new solution to our customers, and it will be made very relatable, easy to understand, so that people can, adopt it as soon as possible.
Just talking about your segment target, are we talking about the youth, the SME, informal traders, rural communities, and so forth?
So our target market is the wider population. Obviously, our existing customers form part of it, as well as the informal traders, SMEs, the youth. So it's really a broad service delivery that we want to introduce, because remember, WhatsApp forms part of every customer's daily life. So it does not really exclude, it's inclusive of everyone. Yes.
Just finally, before I let you go, Ms. Jacqueline, how do you exactly plan to measure the success of this particular campaign and the initiative itself?
So the success would be based on the adoption, and then the engagement, the transactions that will be happening on WhatsApp. So definitely those are some of the key indicators that we are looking at, as well as our general awareness about WhatsApp banking, which we'll be testing, I think, 6 months along the journey of the campaign.
Ms. Jacqueline Beck, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and all the best with this initiative.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, that was Jacqueline Beck. She is the Executive Officer for Marketing and Corporate Communications Services, just talking to us about their broader brand strategy of the newly launched WhatsApp banking initiative. To stay tuned to Namibia Connects. We'll return with more.
Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vaseye, past the Mwayes, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group. Is it possible to love a bank? Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry that defines us as a people. From the Walelepos, Morokeni, Awe Vasege, past the Mwayes, to the Kiriri Samires. The sound of home. In every language, we are because you are. Our hearts beat proudly red, beating for ecosystems that power and drive our nation. Here's to the land of the bravest and the generations of lives well lived. We're in it together because as a truly Namibian bank, we speak all 13 languages plus one, your love language. Come, journey with us. Bank Windhoek, a member of Capricorn Group. Is it possible to love a bank? Let's take a journey together on a scenic route lined with the rich tapestry. Step 1. Save 081 140 2950. Step 2. Send hi on WhatsApp. Step 3. Follow the prompts. Verified, private, and secure. It's as easy as that. Come, journey with us. T's and C's apply.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to Namibia Connects. We're still here at the Bank Windhoek launch of a newly launched banking product, that is the WhatsApp banking initiative, the first of its kind in Namibia. Joining me now for that discussion is the managing director of Bank Windhoek's managing director, that is James Chapman, as well as the head of eMoney Bank Windhoek, Candy Ngola. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. First of its kind, congratulations. Just first things first, perhaps just pretty much a recap, of the discussions that transpired here this morning. Just talk to us about the gap that this app is aiming to fill, particularly in the digital landscape, how it aligns with your broader digital strategy, especially when we look at rural areas where data and bank access poses to be a challenge.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us, and thank you for the question. And I'll go first and then allow Candy also to come in. Yeah, I think what we've said as a principle, we want to move where customers are already. We don't want them to come where we expect them to come or go. And I think that is essentially where this idea was born, is to really take banking services and the related payments to our customers, not only into their hands, but more specifically where they connect and communicate on a daily basis. So that for us was a very big driver of creating WhatsApp banking. And then going a little bit further, talking about the gaps, as you know, the digital economy is evolving. There are a lot of clients and non-clients that are financially excluded. And it was also important for us to then say, how do we include more Namibians in the formalized economy and the financial system essentially? And we have 20 years ago launched cell phone banking, also a first in Namibia by Bank Windhoek at the time. Now 20 years later, we've done something similar with WhatsApp banking, and the way our customers and people have transacted have actually moved completely with that already. And this is now just widening that net to really take it to the same device, but on a platform that our clients are more familiar with.
Perhaps, As Candy adds to what the MD just highlighted, just talk to us about how this integrates with your rate. I mean, of course, it's the first of its kind, but it's not the first digital platform that Bank Windhoek has launched. So how does this tie in with the e-money platform already? And perhaps just talk to us about some of the technical challenges you experience bringing this to life.
Thank you very much for that. So this was part of a broader vision for Bank Windhoek. And there's also a vision that the bank has for where it would like to take e-money, given the evolution of digital payments in the country and the digital economy. So James mentioned that you have both banked customers and also unbanked customers. And Bank Windhoek is in a privileged position, hard-earned position, where they serve currently bank customers with accounts. But through the Easy Wallet since 2017, Bank Windhoek has also been able to bring into its system those that don't have bank accounts, but at least they have mobile phones. And that's also what we've seen, where a lot more people have mobile phones than they do bank accounts, as an example. So the bank recognized that opportunity and that need to serve those that have mobile phones, not only through accounts, but also through your Easy Wallet. So how this fits into the e-money space, the platform caters for Easy Wallet as well. Okay. So customers that don't have bank accounts, they will still be able to make use of WhatsApp banking. And that's primarily the customers we're actually trying to get into our space so that we can serve them and we can meet their daily needs as well. And on the platform, customers are able to not just receive wallets, account to wallet, customers will also be able to send wallet to wallets as well. So it's an all-inclusive platform, again, on the basis that you have a lot more customers, even though they're financially excluded, they are digitally included from a mobile phone point of view. And that's, to James's point, why we are following the customers and why we're asking ourselves to go to them as opposed to them having to come to us.
Just very briefly, before we move to you, MD, do I need to register my number to use the application? And if yes, what happens? Should I change my number?
Yes. So when it comes to customer security and making sure that they have a superior experience, your security doesn't just start when you engage the WhatsApp banking platform of Bank Windhoek. It actually started when you engage your MNO. So currently, we need customers to have a number that is verified by your MNO. And there was a national drive a few years ago where all the MNOs needed to ensure that the SIM registration takes place and your number that you have actually belongs to you. So we make sure that when you're registering on WhatsApp banking, it should be with the cell phone number that you have either registered with Bank Windhoek, that is tied to your bank account, or the cell phone number that is tied to your Easy Wallet. So customers should have numbers that are with SIMs that are registered, and that is actually what feeds into an efficient financial sector. Yeah.
All right. Just speaking of security, MD Chapman, earlier on you raised, I know there were discussions around concerns around fraudulent activities. You highlighted some figures, 72 million fraudulent activities in a year, 6 million in a month. That's a large number. Just talk to us about the measures in place with this app to ensure that it's secure and that customer data is protected.
No, perfect. Thank you very much for that. That obviously was extremely high on our agenda. As I've also mentioned earlier during the day, is that convenience without protection is really not progress. It's just a risk that it's been introduced. So we've really thought through this. I think many of our customers and the public at large already use WhatsApp and are familiar with the first layer of security that the application itself has got. A lot of biometric authentication, for example, to get in and/or PINs, etc. Often two-fold identification just to get into the application. And when you're already in there, encryption. Got quite a strong encryption protocol within WhatsApp. So that almost is our first layer of security. But as a responsible financial institution, also with our customers at the center of our thinking, we went another level and we introduced additional security layers within WhatsApp and within the application for us. And essentially, as you onboard yourself remotely, you will be asked for a PIN. As an example, even that PIN that has been sent to you via a different channel is then encrypted also through us internally in comms. It will not appear in your message. You can also not even type it and post it into the message. So that history of your PIN, etc., will also not be there. So even that second wave is encrypted, and there are protocols and security measures around authentication, etc., and validation of the data you put in. And then lastly, also you can cancel these sessions fairly easily, and then it will be all clear. But if you don't do on your own, it is something, a session that we time out from our end to just make sure that it's not left open-ended and that it can be transacted on by anyone else with your phone at a later stage.
Absolutely. Candy, the one question that will come to mind, of course, if you'd like to add, sure, you can go ahead.
And just to add to James, the security and fraud issue doesn't just end with Bank Windhoek as well. So our role is also to ensure that customer education continues beyond today, and to educate customers to take the necessary protocols and steps and precautions in making sure that they don't give out their PINs, as an example, because part of the fraud you mentioned sometimes comes from social engineering. So it's also our responsibility to educate customers and to create that awareness around the feature and what the bank is doing to ensure that their accounts and wallets are secured and the app is secured, but also how customers can help the bank in keeping fraudulent activity on the low.
Just in addition to that, I think the other question that will come up is how user-friendly this app actually is. Maybe, I mean, we've seen the demonstration, but just to recap, run us through some of these features, the main features that users should take into account. How accessible is it? How simple is it? And what consideration were made in designing this app to make sure that it works with every device, mobile device? Yeah.
So part of the design, we followed a very human-centered design approach. And at the center of everything we did, there was familiarity. Again, the WhatsApp channel. Customers are already used to communicating on that channel, sending and receiving messages. So additional to that, customers will be required to, when they save the number, when they open the app, it's just a different platform where customers will then accept the terms and conditions. That's one of the primary steps the customers will do. The high part they're already used to because they already sent messages, but receiving or accepting your terms and conditions, adding your PIN so that it's tied to your SIM and your mobile number, and also then getting ready to transact. So it's very frictionless almost. And we wanted to make sure that that simplicity is there. We didn't want to build too many steps before the customer could actually start transacting. So between them transacting and them actually opening the app after they've saved the number, it's about 2 steps essentially. Accept the terms and conditions, make sure that your PIN is either registered or you put your PIN into the PIN pad, and after that you're ready to go.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe just as a last one, thank you, Candy. And I think one of the principles we looked at is saying, but access through complexity. Is it really access? And we said, no, it should be simple. And that is essentially what we wanted to achieve.
Speaking about simplicity, the other aspect, of course, just from the customer standpoint, in terms of digital literacy, how do you address the digital literacy barrier? Is it through campaign, education, just the awareness aspect of this particular initiative as well? MT can, yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. And I think it's quite interesting when we look at the demographics of Namibia. We often find ourselves with a much more digitally literate population than we often think. If I just think about our current cell phone banking channel that existed before, the majority of our transactions actually run across that platform at this point in time as it is, meaning they understand the mobile device, how it works, and we've looked at this being very much a reflection of that as well, that simplicity. On the one hand, compared to your mobile app, which is often a bit more complex, but it also lends itself to more complex, high-value transactions, for example. So we're also always trying to balance complexity, the ease of doing business, and then also the value at risk or the risk that you manage. So we continuously roll out campaigns and communication around financial literacy, specifically around fraud, our channels, how to use them, fit-for-purpose channels, because I think that's also important for customers to know exactly what to do on which channel to optimize their experience and also what we and they want to achieve.
Ms. Ngula, perhaps you can add.
I think what I would say is digital literacy is more than just language, although the bank would also cater to that. We'd make sure that the campaigns that James is referring to is not just done in one language, but it covers every customer that we would like to bank or that we bank. But more importantly, it's the how. So you have to get creative in how you communicate the feature. So as you saw here, there was a lot more visualization of the feature and also an experiential marketing approach that was taken. So that probably more than language sometimes deepens the customer's understanding of how a feature actually works. So that's the creative work that we're doing as a bank to make sure that we, can they remember the steps? Can they see the steps and truly embed it into their daily habits until it becomes a norm? So that, I think that works and helps to bridge that digital literacy gap.
Just finally, as we conclude this conversation, MD and both Nkula, just looking ahead, how might the, WhatsApp banking app or just the initiative itself evolve, of course, considering the microloans and we have the AI chatbots and so forth? MD, you can start.
No, I think it's to your point, it's a first step in what can be something significant and what we hope to be something significant. And I think it's always just taking that first step that's the most important. After that, things often just seems to roll off its back. So we are very excited about what it can mean for us. We've been speaking about this digitally enabled ecosystem that we are looking at, where customers communicate, transact, get data from, and almost this platform where customers live on, essentially at the end of the day. And this has got the potential, together with everything else we have to offer, together with partners, etc., to really become that one-stop marketplace where a lot of our clients can actually gather and get through a day, if I can call it that.
Yeah. Ms. Nkula?
We'll digitize the needs of the customers. So whether it's financial needs, whether it's information or behavioral needs, that's essentially what the platform will enable us to do for our customers. So, but I think James really covered it well in terms of what the future holds for this platform and for the bank.
All right. Well, Bank Windhoek's MD, that is James Chapman, so I get confused sometimes. And there was the e-money head of department, that is Kendi Ngula. Thank you both so much for this conversation and all the best with this initiative.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Well, that concludes this discussion, of course, of the newly launched Bank Windhoek's banking product, that is the WhatsApp banking app, an initiative, of course, that advances the digital agenda and, of course, modernizing an inclusive banking initiative. To stay tuned to Namibia Connects. We now continue with other developments, and experts warns global financial risks could deepen Africa's debt pressures. The International Monetary Fund says the Middle East conflict is heightening global financial instability with rising borrowing costs, failing equity prices, and increased bond market volatility. Well, Dr. Yungong Chofeles-Young is the interim executive director, that is at the African Forum and Network on Debt and Management, warns that Africa's debt crisis could worsen, noting that many countries are already spending more on debt servicing than development amid high borrowing costs.
Very important question on the current situation with Africa's debt crisis and whether another debt crisis is inevitable for Africa. Of course, this is not inevitable, but also highly probable that Africa will be facing that the current debt crisis will actually escalate, because Africa, is already in a heightened debt distress, with about 20 African countries either in debt distress or in high risk of debt distress, according to IMF and World Bank estimates. And this signals systemic vulnerabilities that would aggravate with the current crisis caused by the ongoing war in the Middle East. Debt levels rose sharply from the COVID-19 period, and this has also been aggravated by the high cost of borrowing for African countries. And just in about 3 years, the bond yields actually to African countries grew by about 5%, rising from about 7% to about between 10 to 16%, between 2019 and 2022. And this conditions actually continue to actually tighten, and many countries are effectively priced out of international capital markets. And this doubles down on the fact that debt is already crowding out development, and many countries now spend more on debt service than on health and education. So it is most probable that Africa, the current debt crisis is actually going to aggravate.
Right. And I'd like to get into what you mean when you say aggravate, because as you said, the war could certainly test the resilience of financial systems going forward. We could see funding markets tightening going forward, bond market volatility as well. But as the conflict drags on longer than we previously expected, how far is Africa now from just funding strains to now full-on financial instability, the likes that we saw during the 2008 financial crisis?
In fact, we are already in a pre-instability condition, with tightening global liquidity and reduced capital flows. There are currency depreciations across multiple countries. There's limited access to refinancing for maturing debts. And